Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first segment titled Inside Exertis. We're thrilled to announce the return of one of our most popular training programs called the Client Services Program. This intensive training equips attendees with essential skills such as identifying client opportunities through the financial intake form, conducting policy reviews, delivering exceptional customer service, and more. Led by seasoned industry professionals and sales experts, this program consists of 8 sessions aimed at enhancing professional skills and expanding industry knowledge. Hosted at Exertis' California headquarters, this program is designed to benefit professionals throughout the nation. If you're eager to elevate your skill set, we invite you to join one of these sessions. Today we're highlighting one of Exertis' signature solutions titled the Promise Plan. This financial plan offers life insurance protection for all ages and stages of life. The Promise Plan provides lifelong financial security for your family and additional financial support for yourself. It's a reliable way to ensure your family's well-being, offering financial stability even after you're gone. With a Promise Plan, you can ease the burden on your loved ones during a challenging time. This exclusive interview with Tanya Springer, Key Account Manager of Gerber Life Insurance Company, will explore the potential benefits of this approach. We actually have a special guest for you guys this evening. We have the Sales and Account Manager of Gerber Life, a very established company, and we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. Miss Tanya, welcome to today's show.
Thank you very much for having me on.
All right, perfect. So Miss Tanya here is actually going to tell a little bit about herself. Can you share with our audience a little bit about your experience and how you got involved with Gerber Life?
Sure. My career path is very interesting. When I finished at UCLA, I went out into the workforce and started off as a registered representative and agent, like some of you are thinking about doing, and some of you already are. And found that that wasn't really my lot in life, and went through working for banks and insurance companies, and kind of found my sweet spot in working with agents as a wholesaler. So I came to Gerber Life almost 6 years ago to do account management, and I have certain partners of which Exertis is one, and glad for that relationship and the collaboration that we do, and the family atmosphere and relationship that I've been able to build with this firm. So I have a ton of experience with life insurance, annuities, all type of financial products, but my specialty now is really on the life insurance platform for Gerber Life.
And you're quite knowledgeable too in this space. Whenever we sit down with you, Miss Tanya, it's good because you actually explain concepts and especially products in a very simple way, which I love. Straight to the point, very direct. But it's easy for us as financial professionals to really grasp and hone so that we could be able to communicate that over with clients. And yes, absolutely. We do consider you as family too, and we have a lot of fun together. We have a
Yeah,
lot of
I
fun
do.
together. And so, Miss Tanya, I mean, there's no one better to be able to share, a little bit about Gerber Life than you. And so, can you share, of course, a little bit about who Gerber Life is, what they do, and how they how they fare with the industry?
Oh, certainly. So Gerber, and I tease people all the time, Noel, I ask them, who has not heard of Gerber Life? And unless you've been under a rock for several years, most people have heard of Gerber, even if you associate it with the baby food or baby products like the clothing, toys, and hydration. But keeping children in mind, back in 1967, they decided to create some products for children to help them with their financial and insurance lives as they move into adulthood. And I'm referring to the iconic Grow Up Plan, which we'll talk about a little later during our chat today. But we are part of Western and Southern. That's our parent company. So we're sister companies to Touchstone, Columbus Life, Lafayette Life, and Western and Southern Distributors Integrity, who distributes annuities.
And it's funny because I believe I ate Gerber food too when I was younger as
Oh,
well. I have a little history with when it comes to Gerber, even when I was growing up. Now, with that, Tanya, thanks so much for sharing about Gerber Life and who they are. Now, I understand actually, and it's exciting news in that, of course, their ratings actually increased. And we always share within Exertis that ratings do matter, and whenever clients are considering working with an insurance carrier, they do tend to look at those financial ratings. And can you share with the group why ratings are important, and of course, where Gerber Life stands in all that mix?
Oh, certainly. Although we have the best branding, I think, in the world, everyone has seen that iconic image of a baby's head. And by the way, that's a little girl. For years, I thought it was a boy, and I think other people did too. But it's
I
a
didn't know.
little girl. Oh, really? Oh, okay, yeah. It's a girl, and grew up to be an adult. Her name is was Anne Cook, and she was a novelist and a school teacher, and she passed away a couple of years ago. But they used the image of the her face, her head, for years on the baby food and also on our life insurance products. But ratings do matter, and we were super thrilled to have that announcement from AM Best to increase our ratings to A+, and that just really represents that you're doing business with a company that's financially sound, will be around for decades to come, and very financially stable. And that matters to people. We live in a world full of, uh, how can I say it, scams and untrust and different things where it creates a lot of uncertainty when you can be certain that you can trust us. We are the brand that you can trust.
I love that. I love that. And of course, when we're with the industry that we're in, of course, the financial services and insurance space, when you're talking about that level of trust, it's important too. Of course, it's a personal subject, finances, and all that. Now, when it comes to Gerber Life, you know, why is this type of planning important? Whether we're talking about legacy planning, financial planning, college funding planning, what have you. Why is that important?
Well, most people, families don't want to leave a burden for the ones they leave behind. They want to make sure that if something happens, an untimely death, that the children can still go to college and pursue a higher education, that they can still pay their rent or mortgage. I mean, these are real life things. I'm not talking about going to the movies or taking vacations. These are things just to survive. And that's something all of us are going to do. And we're not going to be part of this life anymore in this world. And that's why it's important. And I'll share a stat with you. Over 60% of Americans don't have a plan for end of life planning. And as agents and insurance financial professionals, we have a chance to educate our communities so we can stop doing GoFundMe's and bake sales and car washes, asking friends and families to help pay for that day.
That's a huge point. And even that statistic, it's staggering. And there's a lot of people in those situations too. All right, Miss Tanya, that they're using those GoFundMe options. And because what we find is that it's not that people plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And when it comes to these type of these types of situations, they have resources such as yourself, and even these options through Gerber Life, where they could be able to be in a better receive better financial outcomes, more, so to speak. And so, with that, I want to get a little bit into kind of the technical side of things too, for our audience here, Ms. Tanya. And so, can you share a little bit about? I understand that you guys have what is called a grow up plan. What is that? And can you share a little bit about who that relates to, and who could benefit?
Okay. Before I do that, Noel, I wanted to share another stat, and I'm speaking really to new people in the industry or somebody who's thinking of, coming on board to have this level of service to their communities. They say there's 39% of people in America want to learn more about life insurance and want to buy insurance this year, 2024. The reason why they don't is no one's talking to them about it and they don't understand it. So it's a huge opportunity to get in the game and do what you can for these families and communities, businesses and individuals.
I love that. I love that, and it's true too. And I think too, because a lot of people, when they start talking, having these type of conversations, one, they might a little bit be intimidated by it, or maybe they have some misconceptions about it too. For people getting into the industry, I guess you could say, Ms. Tanya, what would be, especially, I guess, talking more for kind of the younger generation, what would be kind of the best way for them to really consider these type of options to learn more about it?
There's a variety of ways to do that. One thing is to pick products that are easy to sell, and that goes to the Grow Up Plan that you referenced a couple of minutes ago. So the Grow Up Plan is our iconic children's whole life insurance, very easy to sell because it's like magic. You buy insurance today for a baby, at least 14 days old to 14 years old, and the face amount that you selected doubles automatically without any evidence of insurability when that child, now a young adult, turns 18 for the same low budget friendly price. So that's that magic. And then the power of it is we're ensuring the insurability of a child, now an adult, in case something happens where they're rendered uninsurable. So, that's our best selling product on our direct to consumer side of the fence. It's easy for young people who are on a budget. You might have just gotten married, bought your first house, had your first kid. You might not have too much disposable income to properly fund an IUL, Index Universal Life, which is more of a cash accumulation based product. So this would be a great start, literally, for that child as they move along in life.
Wow, and that's amazing too. Like they could start early, and then you said too that they could actually increase their their coverage too as
Yeah,
they.
when they turn 21, yeah, they have the option. It's something called guaranteed purchase options, where they have four opportunities to increase that original doubling. So in the case where you had $50,000 and it doubled to 100, now you can increase no more than 10 times the original. So you can actually turn that $50,000 policy into a $500,000 policy.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I think that's also a good, that for me, that also hits a little light bulb too, because that could also be a solution that maybe even would be good for grandparents.
Yes.
If they have grandchildren, right, and they probably want to leave something for them, maybe like a gift or some type of legacy behind. I correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Tanya, but could that be a consideration for them to do for their grandkids?
That's an excellent idea, Noel. Yeah, they can. They can leave a little change, a little pocket change or a policy for them. A lot of grandparents do that. In fact, a few years ago, that was the number one selling, well, not so much product, but it was a Christmas gift idea. So what they did is they took the certificate and it was a stocking stuffer, is what I'm trying to say. And what a gift to give a child. I
No.
mean, it's brilliant. People, I mean, every holiday season, that really should be a thing. And we like to tease too. You can put up to six children on one application. So you no longer have to pick a favorite.
Oh wow. That's right. That's right. So they don't have to go through that difficult conversation now.
Yeah.
Now, how about for the adults, Miss Tanya? So, for I know that seems like a great type of planning for for kids and the grandkids as well. But how about for adults? I understand that you guys also have what is called a guaranteed issue whole life product. Is that correct?
We do, and this one's for our older crowd, so we need age 50 to 80, and you can purchase up to $25,000 of guaranteed whole life insurance. So there's no health questions, no exams, no invasive anything. As long as you're paying the premium, the coverage is guaranteed. And why this is key, this is a very viable way to pay for final expenses. On top of funeral planning, there could be some leftover medical debt from long-term care, or they could, a lot of seniors belong to tennis clubs and all kind of clubs. They might still owe some dues, and this is a great way to take care of those credit card bills and those type of expenses too. But normally we're referring to funeral planning, which can be very, very expensive that day because no one, Americans, we don't sit around the kitchen table and talk about the latest price or the current price of a casket or funeral director services. And this is a great way to kind of get ahead of that, where you're leaving a legacy and not a financial burden.
I love that. And it's very important. You hit on some very key key points there, Tanya, because too, a lot of people, it sometimes it can be a little morbid to have these type of,
Yeah.
questions or these type of conversations, but they're important. Let's face it. And it's great knowing that we're doing this type of planning and having these type of conversations. And hopefully we'll have more of these too. That's gets be more normal because we don't want to be able to get into those type of statistics of, people having to go through, GoFundMe plans or having to take out a loan and, go through those traditional, vessels of having to kind of continue on. But when you have these type of plannings, it's almost like you have some weight lifted off your shoulders. You have more peace of mind, right? And
Yeah.
so, for a little bit of a closing, mark from you, Miss Tanya, what could you say in regards to, let's say out to our viewers, thinking of this type of planning, but haven't yet, they're on the borderline and they're perhaps on the fence of trying to get these type of plans. What would you tell them for those who don't necessarily have a plan in place or just on the fence?
Well, I'll share a quick story with you. So years ago, I'm dating myself now. When I was in my early 20s. I was a rep. I was an agent out there. And I met a person, and back then, compact disc, remember that technology? They were $20 a piece back in 1990, 91, around there. So I met a gentleman that used to like to buy five. So that's what, 120 plus a month with the tax. And I said, listen, why don't you just buy four? Give me the 20 or 25 and let's start a mutual fund. And he said, well, what is $25 a month going to do? I said, it's teaching you the discipline of saving. So as your income improves, the 25 becomes 50, becomes 100, and so on and so on. So, I did that job for about a year. It wasn't for me, really wasn't successful, or maybe I didn't give it the time it needed. But 18 years later, he called me and he said, I don't know if you remember me. I had bought the CDs and you taught me about saving, and I did. He said, I'm calling to thank you because you teaching me how to save money, I was able to send my son to college. I mean, the power in what I did years ago and didn't think anything of it is what all of you have a chance to do. And I'll tell you this, in America, we're socialized to think that firemen, police officers, lawyers, depending on how you live your life, are heroes. But you're a hero too. You're the unsung hero when someone can bury their loved one with the dignity and respect that they deserve, when someone can provide a higher education for their child, and someone doesn't have to work at Wendy's or McDonald's for retirement. You've done your job and you have a chance to check that box and be of that level of service.
Wow, that's very impactful, and you never know too, right? You never know who you're going to influence. You never know who you're gonna, how much of an impact you will make on. I'm sure you might have not thought of it at the time, but it happened years later. That individual went ahead and thanked you, for it.
You didn't have to do that.
So that's the type of impact. I love that. That's the type of impact a lot of people could make in this industry. For those who are in the industry or considering getting into the industry, thank you so much for sharing that perspective. And that's a short story, Ms. Tanya.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, and so of course, for the sake of time, I'm sure a lot of people would like to learn more about, of course, Gerber Life, as well as the type of planning that you guys conduct. And in fact, we have an opportunity that's going to be here soon within Exertis that our agents are going to be trained by none other than Miss Tanya, of course, and she's going to be doing a deep dive and in greater detail on the solutions of the Grow Up Plan, as well as the guaranteed issued solutions. So if you guys are in the area, as well as have access to the online streaming link, you're more than welcome to be able to do so. And so with that, Ms. Tanya, thank you so much on behalf of Exertis to be able to not only join us on today's conversation, but thank you so much for working hand in hand with us and at the same time being a part of the Exertis family. We really appreciate you. We appreciate Gerber Life and all the things that you guys got going on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, team, get ready for the highly anticipated announcement of EFPN's top 5 players of the week. Let's ignite excitement by starting with our 5th ranked player, Josefina Roque, who has demonstrated remarkable leadership with an impressive 3,293 points in personal production. Moving to the 4th position, we have Yvette Adams shining brightly with an outstanding 3,639 points in personal production. Brace yourselves for our 3rd ranked players, Joe and Blanca Rivas, boasting an incredible 3,650 points in base production. Now let's focus on the second position on the leaderboard, Sarah Barcelona with a remarkable 11,094 points in personal production. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, the unveiling of our number one spot. We are thrilled to showcase Martha Selly, who has achieved an exceptional 22,754 points in personal production. Congratulations to all of our top 5 players of the week for their outstanding achievements.